Welcome back to Benny's Custom Works, proudly brought to you by Haltech. This week we are back on the GX81. We are doing a front brake upgrade. We are doing the fabled internet history story, cool stories brake upgrade. We are putting R33 calipers using BA Falcon discs. We do have hub-centric rings, which I actually machined up already. And we are going to be doing some front wheel bearing replacement because one very keen-eared listener / viewer did comment saying our front wheel bearings were shagged. I was very well aware of that at the time. I think we got a dead wheel bearing. But unfortunately, in Australia, for whatever reason, no one stocks Japanese-made front wheel bearings for an X-Series car. Interestingly, the wheel bearings in this actually go all the way up to ICE 200, so plenty of cross compatibility, but all of the bearings available in Australia for whatever reason are Chinese, so I had to order some bearings from overseas. They are Japanese bearings. I have actually already done one because I did mock all this brake kit up on a spare strut just to make sure that I did actually have all the right parts before we did it. I've already painted the calipers so you don't have to suffer through 9 hours of me painting calipers, but the goal for today is basically to get the front brake kit on and possibly muck around with some other stuff. So we'll see how we go.
So for those of us who have ADHD and forgot to listen in the intro, where did these calipers come from?
R33 GTST Skyline. So for whatever reason, Nissan and Toyota used very similar caliper spacing, both in the bolt positioning. They're like 100mm bolt spacing from memory, but also the offset in the height of the caliper. So it basically means you can put a lot of Nissan brakes onto Toyotas with some of them bolt on, some of them you need different discs. This disc conversion is very, very common in Australia, but I think that is basically because this is an Australian disc. In the US, I've seen a similar conversion, but they actually use a Nissan disc and then a caliper spacer, which in Australia is illegal. So fortunately, the BA Falcon disc actually works. The offset is correct, the PCD is correct. The biggest issue is the Falcon center bore is, I think, 71mm from memory. So I've got these press fit hub rings which I've made, which actually adapt back to the Falcon disc. And what that means is it's a direct off-the-shelf consumable that we don't need to modify at all. It's a slip fit, and you can buy this from pretty much any parts store around Australia. You can just walk in and buy them off the shelf. We've got DBA T2s. I literally had these out there, out the back for something. I don't even know why I had them, because they don't fit Gian's car and they don't fit my car. They also didn't fit my FG, so I really don't even know where they've come from, but being that I had them in stock, why not use them? Funnily enough, cool story about these calipers. I actually found those at our local tip about 5 years ago. I don't even know why someone would throw R33 calipers out, but I picked them up and I actually gave them to Paulie, and he's had them for ages and ages and ages, and I had a rear pair as well that came from the same tip find, and he's using them on his project drift car, so he didn't need the fronts, so the fronts are going to get rehomed onto this, and so far I think my total spend is like 140 bucks because I scabbed them. I don't even know where they came from, and the brake pads I got on clearance at a local parts store that was, I think it had a damaged box. The box had been opened and they must have been returned or something, but yeah, big win. And then Japanese wheel bearings, NSK bearing, and a genuine Toyota seal, and they were cheap from overseas, or just an overseas parts supplier that we buy a lot of genuine Toyota parts from, and yeah, they rocked up in like 4 or 5 days, so great times. Let's press a wheel bearing in. I have already pressed them out because I was going to put the bearings that were Japanese that I already ordered that turned up Chinese, so we're already halfway through. You're not going to see all the fun of pressing out a bearing, but it's not that fun. So we'll throw these bearings in, or this bearing in, and then we can actually start ripping the car apart.
I think the burning question here is, what were you doing hanging out at the tip?
Just taking stuff to the tip, bro.
Yeah, I see.
It was in the scrap metal pile.
Oh, really? Yeah.
There's always treasures in the scrap metal pile.
Don't give away the secrets.
I was baffled that there was a set of R33 calipers just sitting there. I was like...
Did you know what they were straight away? Or?
Yeah. Interestingly, I don't think they were actually on a Nissan though, because someone had ground the Nissan off. So they'd already been sanded. Even weirder, they've been rebuilt. Someone's actually spent the money to rebuild them and repaint them. I painted them black. They were blue. They were this ugly color of blue, but... So if you put some R33 calipers at Mossvale Tip about 5 years ago, thank you.
They were mine, can I have them back?
Nope. I wanted gloss black, and I'm like, oh, I can't be f***ed with rattle cans and masking, so I just brush painted them.
Yeah, cool.
The finish isn't great, but it was more because I didn't sand the calipers properly.
Obviously it's rated to withstand some heat.
Yeah,
that it's
I mean,
built for engines.
this also isn't a race car, so
Yeah.
let's press a bearing in. In my new press.
Let me just move this glorious Manfrotto tripod.
You're a Manfrotto.
Speaking of expensive, this looks quite fandangled.
How much do you think this press cost?
I'm going to say $2,000.
That's what you would think. It was actually cheaper than that.
Amazing.
I know. It was like $1,300 or something.
Oh, so second handy?
No, brand spankers in the box. It came in a timber crate that looked like a coffin. So I got the bearing most of the way in, but you need to actually use, in this case, I'm just going to use an old wheel bearing, one of the ones I pressed out from this, to get it all the way in, because there's like a snap ring groove that you've got to get it past and all this other funky gear. So in order to do it correctly, you've got to push it all the way in, and then you've got to make sure you don't forget the snap ring before you put the seal in. Ask me how I know. There's one bearing in. So Gian's giving me a side quest mid thing. It's like, who's got more ADHD, me or him? And this is his grandfather's bench mounted vise, and the locking pin has been seized in here for who knows how long, because it's just been sitting out in the weather. So hopefully we can free that up today. So I'm gonna hit it with some miscellaneous penetrant spray and give that a second to soak in. Then I'm just gonna try and cook it to death. Bit of flambéed vise. What's that dessert they cook the top on it?
Creme brulee.
Yes. I love me some creme brulee, as you can tell by my rotundness. So how long have you been trying to fix this for?
Oh man, I'm not kidding. It's probably sat around for weeks.
Really? Am I going to upset you by doing this in like 5 minutes? How long have you been trying to fix this for?
I'm going to say weeks, but not, I haven't been there, day and night. I've just sort of had it sitting in some sort of rust penetrant liquidy thing that took off all the paint, took off everything.
It's already moving, bro.
That's crazy.
The thing is to make sure that you're just gentle with it and move it back and forth, rather than trying to just drag the thread out. Because being so old and cast, there is a chance you could pick the thread up and just drag the whole thread out when you wind it out.
Okay. So slightly embarrassingly, see how that this bar's bent?
You bent it from trying to undo it?
That's how hard I've been trying and struggling.
Yeah, so it's still pretty firm.
I was convinced that was never gonna happen. So you've done well.
Thank you. I mean, there's a lot of rust built up on that. But it is coming. It's actually pretty free now. I mean, it's hotter than the surface of the sun still, but like that's... The other thing is too, this is actually bent.
Ah, okay.
So
I wonder if I did that too.
Nah. Look at that.
Wow. So what do you recommend from here? Putting like some sort of anti-seize?
Yeah, just a little touch of anti-seize on there, and also the main part, the main shaft of the vise.
Yep.
Or even just grease. You don't have to use
Amazing.
anti-seize in everything.
Thank you.
No worries.
Side quest complete.
Back to the real task at hand. We've now pressed the bearing in, and this is the snap ring that actually retains the bearing in this hub. So I'm just going to use some circlip pliers to grab him, and it's as easy as that.
Good sound. Whoever called it a snap ring, thank you. Good on you. Makes sense.
Correct name.
Yeah.
That's called a circlip, not a snap ring.
Oh, is that the other name for it?
Sure. Genuine Toyota seal. Couldn't actually get a genuine bearing, strangely. Nice. So these hubs are actually from the Cressida that we got heaps of parts from. So these have ABS rings. The car doesn't have ABS, but if we ever do traction control or something else that we need a front wheel speed sensor, we've now got the tone ring already fitted. So all we'd have to do is then fit either the Cressida ABS sensor, or we could use a Cherry sensor. So we've got options now. So it's pretty cool, because the spindles that we've used in the Shockworks also are ABS spindles. So we've already got the mounting provision as well for the sensor. So go
nice.
team. Now the fun part, Gian.
I feel like that was the fun part.
Nah. You know what the fun part is? The wheels aren't going to fit anymore.
Oh.
I've got plenty of wheels.
Oh, okay, cool.
But part of the reason, well, not the reason, but because I've gone to 17s now, I figured we may as well do the brake upgrade. Because there's no reason to run tiny little brakes now if we're not using 15-inch wheels. Does anyone want to buy some cheap Cressida brakes? They've done like 20 kilometres. Did you just hear my elbow go crunch?
It's because it's a cold day.
It's not because it's a cold day. It's because I have mechanic's elbow. For sale, the new GX81 brakes.
New pads too, right?
Yeah. Oon hub nut. Oon hub. New hub. This is the part you've got to be careful of not to damage the bearing.
Sorry, what's the reason for the hammering there?
So it's like two split races inside that you've got to get the race on the bearing, or sorry, on the stub axle. So you've just got to be super gentle with it, otherwise you can put dints in the bearing race, and then that's what makes real bad wheel bearing noises. Oh, that's interesting. Why is my screen dead?
Maybe it's because it's a cold day.
There we go.
Yeah, I wonder if the batteries are just cold because it's a cold day.
Nah, it's not that cold, bro. Right, I've got that bottomed out, and now we use the torque wrench. And then you've got to stake the nut. It is a good idea to get a new hub nut where possible. Unfortunately, I didn't get one. Another good trick is actually to swap them left to right. Sometimes it'll mean that it'll tighten up in a different spot. Unfortunately, these are actually tightening in a different spot with the new bearing anyway, so no great drama there. Gonna need a pin punch, I think. It's not going anywhere. Twang, it's a ratchet strap joke.
Oh, look at that.
Whoever originally came up with this brake conversion is a wizard.
Once again, I've asked this before, and I know the answer is probably as simple as the internet, but how did you figure this out?
Yeah, this was an internet, like this has been known for years.
But what do you, like, where do you go, and what do you
This
type
would have been
into?
forums things back in the day.
Yeah, right. And you just remembered this?
Yeah, it's a pretty common recipe, like in Cressida land. And I think people even jumped in the comments when we first redid the brakes in the stock kind of setup, going, oh, why didn't you do the R33 brake upgrade?
Okay.
At the time, it was because we were running 15-inch wheels and there was no way we were going to fit them. Interestingly, I think we may actually go down the same path with the Cresta of using the R33 brakes, because the wheelwoods that are on it just don't really cut it.
Interesting.
So I think the actual answer is probably the exact same conversion, then convert to MX83 spindles and lower steering arms. Unfortunately, I've got another pair of struts we can build those out of. And Chris at Shockworks, the legend, can just send us, because obviously Shockworks are modular, he can just send us lower legs that we can get welded onto our struts. So this is original MX83 spindle, which is then bored out, and then this lower leg's welded to that spindle by a professional.
And just to state the obvious here with these pins, you just wire brush them so that they'll slide nicer?
Yeah.
Or more reliably?
Yeah, just clean them up, really.
Yeah. Are you going to put any sort of grease or anything on them as well?
On the pins?
On the pins?
Not on the pins, no. I will put a touch on the end of the pads, though.
Is it dangerous to put?
Probably. I don't know.
Okay.
I generally don't lube stuff up much on brakes, but DBA specifically have supplied this grease and even showed you on the bag where to put it, so.
That's interesting, because see where you're putting it now I would think is somewhat controversial, because that could potentially leak onto or get in the way of the braking surface and the pad.
So minimal though, like there's literally a smear, like that's gonna burn off. If it were to get onto the pad surface, like no one's gonna die over it.
Yeah, cool. That's what we want to hear. Well, hopefully most of us want to hear that.
Now the moment of truth, is the brake line gonna fit?
Do they fit?
I mean, yes, it will fit. I just can't tell quite what's going on right now. I think it's just there's just a little bit of paint on that thread. I was worried it might be cross-threading.
Yeah.
But it's just gone straight in now.
Phew. How good.
Never feared, Gian. And we don't even need to buy new brake lines. That's actually the best part of it, considering I just bought graded brake lines.
In terms of over-engineering,
What do you mean?
this is, well, the calipers are there to stop a heavier vehicle, is that right? So they would almost be more efficient in this?
I mean, they're a bigger disc, a 4-piston caliper, and bigger pad surface area, so there's just all winning really. The only thing I need to get is another brake line clip. I have stuff like that. Unluckily, it's full of junk, so sometimes it takes 7 days to find it. See, look, junk. GC8 bonnet, boot release, which also fits RS. Just stuff that's been sitting around forever. Things I've accumulated.
Is this your only drawer of this
20
kind of
Subaru
thing?
timing belt tensioner pins.
At least you know what these things are.
6-speed shifter knuckle piece. Subaru exhaust springs. We could be here a while.
I forgot what we're looking for.
Brake line clips. Oh look, a brake line clip.
Nice.
Let's make sure it's the right width. Yay. We are cooking with gas, my friend.
Better than electric.
Controversial statement.
Nah, surely not.
Depends though. I'm not really that keen on gas appliances in the house.
Oh, yeah?
I like
Is that-
barbecuing.
Yeah, but is that because of risk of fire or?
No. I just don't know. I've never had gas appliances.
Wait, so you've got electric stove at home?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. No, I was just trying to think why we have a gas meter, but I think our hot water's gas.
Ah, yeah, right. Like you got to change the bottles, sort of thing.
No, plumbed in. Like it's
okay.
natural gas, not LP.
Yeah.
All of the random chats.
Yeah. So
People have already switched off and gone to bed, bro.
It's Sunday morning.
Yeah, they've gone to bed because they're like, oh. To be fair, it's only like 8:30 in the morning by now, so they've probably just gone back to bed because it's like, oh, I don't need to deal with this on a Sunday. And that, my friend, is a win. Now we get to do it all over again. These wheels will be on Marketplace today.
We will speed this up for the people at home. You don't have to watch it twice.
No, we won't. You definitely have to watch it twice. This will be the quickest episode we've done in a long time. It'll only be like 98 minutes instead of the usual 3 hours. I don't know who was reading whose homework when they designed these brakes, but Nissan and Toyota definitely, there was a lot of collaboration as far as spacing and pattern goes. I wonder if it was actually like Sumitomo, which is the manufacturer of the calipers, said, I'll just do this to both companies. Because I think actually these stock brakes are Sumitomo and the Nissan 4Pod's definitely a Sumitomo, so I wouldn't be surprised if there was some like third-party consultation in that. So glad that we're doing all this twice. I definitely feel like Jeff now.
So when you check it that second time,
Yeah.
are you feeling that it's actually getting tighter?
Typically no,
Okay.
but it's just making sure that, because sometimes if something's excessively greased, it can actually move more,
Yes.
but because there's minimal grease in there on the thread, it's not a drama.
throw back to your handy tip, take the batteries out of your torque wrench.
Yep. If you've got an electric torque wrench, always make sure you take the batteries out of it, because if the batteries are to fail inside that wrench, it's pretty much game over. Whether it's a $150 one or a $1,500 one, it's still worth protecting. So both tightened up in different spots to last time.
So you're actually hammering that at a different spot?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool, nice.
So see where it was a bit wibbly wobbly there?
Yeah.
That's where it used to be.
Gotcha. So are Nissan brakes the best?
The best? Probably not. Do they work? Yeah, definitely.
So you basically use the Nissan brakes because of the compatibility across platforms?
Yes.
Good value
They're
for
very
money,
common
good bang.
caliper.
Yeah.
The pads are common as well, like they're actually common to Subaru as well, so same deal, part shops are always going to have them.
Yep.
It's not weird consumables. You can get performance pads to suit these calipers.
Yep.
There's heaps of definite benefits to using a caliper like this. Like some of the Toyota 4-pot calipers, like say the Lexus LS400 calipers, there's actually not a lot of performance pads available for that because it's not a performance car. It's more a luxury car, so they want like low dust, low noise pads.
Makes sense.
Whereas like an R33 Skyline, which uses the same pad as a million other performance cars, you can get a more aggressive pad, which the offshoot is heavier dust and more noise. Admittedly, we are putting a street pad in this anyway, so because it's not a full-blown track car, but it'll still respond a lot better than a traditional style pad that's a normal pad that's smaller in surface area on a smaller disc anyway.
Yeah. So are the constructions of the brake discs with that gap in the middle mainly for heat dispersion?
Yeah, that's what they call a vented rotor. So there's vented and solid depending on what the application is. Older, like when disc brakes first came out, there was a lot more solid discs. In the kind of, I guess even in the 70s, they started to swing towards a vented disc, at least in the front. The rear disc, even on this car, they're actually solid. There are many cars with vented rear discs. You can actually get vented rear discs and calipers for this. They're from the JZX81 turbo model. Are they worth upgrading to? Maybe, I don't know. It's not something that's crossing my mind at the moment. So, I mean, the rear brakes in this, whatever, especially seeing as it's not a track car.
Yeah.
The rear brakes aren't doing a lot of work anyway, and then, yeah, is it really worth changing calipers and discs again when we've already done the rear brakes once and now done the front brakes twice?
Yeah.
Do we go back down the rabbit hole again? Probably not.
33 brakes these days must cost a pretty penny.
No, bro, you just go to your local tip.
For us that don't dig around the tip though.
Normally $400 or $500 for a pair of front calipers.
Yeah.
Sometimes they come with hubs. Sometimes you pay $1 million if you go to certain Skyline parts shops in Western Sydney, but there's still deals to be had out there, you know. Sometimes you go to certain Skyline part shops in Western Sydney and they tell you you've got the part, and then you drive there for an hour and a half to get there, and then they don't have the part, and that's heaps good.
Yeah. You know what? I've experienced something similar.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Even when you ask them to confirm they have it and they go, yeah, we've definitely got it.
Yeah.
And then you spend an hour and a half driving down there.
Yeah.
Only to find they actually don't have it. And then they have the hide to have a go at you about it when you give them a bit of stick.
How's it feel?
Oh, it's garbage because I haven't bled anything.
Yeah, fair.
But I'm just trying to...
Nice new kicks.
Trying to keep them clean for more than 10 minutes.
You look like a basketballer now.
You look like a basketballer.
Thank you.
You do not look like a basketballer.
Had to try and...
What position do you play, left, right, out?
Do you only need to bleed the passenger front and driver's front?
Yeah, I'm just going to do the fronts.
Okay.
The brakes are all going to come apart anyway, but I want to have fluid in it.
Yeah.
And also depending on how the project evolves, it may end up actually getting driven and tuned before we blow the bay apart and repaint everything. So I just want to have it all done and ready, and just then we know where it's at.
But yeah, no need to go full sending, bleeding,
Nah.
everything like meticulously yet. I can't see if there's fluid coming out of that, but
Nah,
I
it's
don't
not
think
yet.
so.
Nah, it won't come out straight away because the whole caliper's empty.
Yeah, okay. So what you're doing by cracking that nipple is gravity bleed?
Basically, yeah. Just letting it start. And I'll chuck the vac bleed on it in a sec. I was just letting the compressor get a full head of hair.
Yeah.
Head of air. Watch it.
I know what you meant.
Yeah, you can use that. Full head of hair, not like me. Baldy Balderson.
What are you checking for there?
Just looking for air bubbles. No bubbles. Click.
Pretty sure I discussed this with you last time, but I thought that you weren't able to crack the nipple without it sucking in air.
Well, there should be no reason why the system's under vacuum, so I think that's a bit of a wives' tale.
Yeah. And how come people sometimes will have, like, let's say, going into a bottle full of liquid? Is that just because they're
to
pumping?
stop it. Well, yeah, but it's also, if the hose is submerged in liquid, it's never going to draw air either.
Yeah, so it's more just a safety thing, just in case, more so?
Pretty well.
Yeah. Especially if you're pumping the pedal, I guess, because by pumping the pedal, would you potentially have or create some sort of vacuum?
No, it shouldn't.
Okay.
Well, when I say that, when you come off the pedal, technically it could suck fluid back in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's because we're not pumping the pedal, there's not really much risk of drawing any fluid back.
Yeah.
Or drawing air back, I should say.
Is there a scenario you can think of where you would want to have that running into a bottle?
Oh, I mean, what I'm doing is not the right thing to do.
Oh, okay.
It's more just, A, it's my car, B, I can visually see if there's air, because a lot of these brake suckers, they're pulling air from around the nipple and also potentially a vac leak here. So the visual here always looks like it's got air in it, but it's not a true visual representation of what's actually happening.
Yeah.
So like we've just bled half a litre of fluid through the front circuit, so there should be no reason that there'd be any air in it, especially because we haven't replaced the lines, we haven't replaced the master cylinder. It's purely just replacing the calipers, so it's only really the volume of air in the caliper and the junction from joining the line into the caliper that's actually going to induce air into it.
Yeah. And then,
So,
just to be sure, at the end, you're even checking by cracking the nipple and
at the
making
front,
sure
on the front,
on the front.
yeah. Yeah, no, we're not doing anything brake-wise on the back. I'm literally going to fit the MX-83 rear lower control arms because these have a sway bar bracket. The GX-81 doesn't have that.
Okay.
So we're going to whack them in now so that we can use them with our sway bar that we're still developing. Yeah, words.
Cool.
And I'm going to put different wheels on the back because I'm going to sell the wheels that are on the car currently.
Nice. And what's that in the background we can see?
Oh yes, my new resonator
Amazing.
in the middle. SP mufflers, these guys make all their stuff in-house. These are made in Sydney. Very nice piece of gear. Very well worth the cost in my opinion. They are Australian made using local and imported materials, but yeah, really good quality product and should sound awesome. They make everyone by hand and they spec them to suit, so I wanted offset tips in the rear and a center inlet in a 6.5 inch body, so this will fit under the car. The tips, they look huge, but the body of the muffler here is actually quite a long way under the car, so the rear bar should be about here, so there's about 3 inches of tip stick out, which is exactly what I wanted. Didn't want so much so that it's 2 foot past the bar, but didn't want it so it's tucked under and actually burns the bumper either. So should be a really good offset and then work really well.
That reminds me of your Sigma muffler.
There's a lot of similarities. That is a lot nicer muffler than the Sigma one though.
Yep.
Like the Sigma one was cool, but it wasn't that well made.
Yep.
Pretty stoked with how this is coming together, hey?
Oh man.
Got the diff in, got the tail shaft in. Next week's wiring with Dave, hopefully.
Sweet.
And then closely followed by that, exhaust with Wayne. So I've got the muffler, the resonator. Golby's have actually sent me a new cylinder head flange. The one we've got is for 35mm, which is like 32 NB steam pipe. So we've got a flange that's actually been cut for 38mm or 1.5 inch tube to go straight into it. So that'll work. I've got all the collectors to make the headers. The tube I've just got from Ben Brothers, another local company I think they're based in Sydney. They do heaps and heaps of fabrication supplies. By all means, check out their Instagram. They do tons and tons of stuff. So if you are making exhaust systems or other tube works, they're definitely worth checking out. They have really nice flex joints as well. We ordered a flex joint and some V-bands as well. So they make it, or they supply a lot of really nice stuff. And you guys will see heaps of their materials going into this exhaust system, which is going to consume 1 million T-mandrel bends because we're making the extractors and obviously the full system. So plenty to check out. We'll chuck these arms in and then everyone can go home, including you guys.
If you're not already there.
Oh, well, they'll be asleep. 17 or 19?
19.
Yep.
Hey.
It's not a 19 either, it's a 21.
Ah, there you go.
No, it's a 19.
So you're expecting that tab to be exactly where you need it?
It doesn't matter. Sorry, which tab?
The
sway bar
other-
mount tab.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this bar is still a prototype bar, so this angle currently is not correct.
Okay.
The bar pattern that we had made is actually to suit the stock offset of the bar, and because every man and his dog is going to run these slammed, we're actually redesigning that at the moment. So hopefully we'll have another test bar in the next week or so.
Nice.
And then the final piece, and then they'll be available through the Benny's Custom Works online store.
Amazing.
And we'll be able to ship them all around Australia, if not the world.
So,
No, not there.
25.
28.
Yeah, the box.
No, mate. I call him the salad because he's seized.
uh-huh.
There we go. I'm actually going to put some anti-seize on these cams. And when I say cam, you'll see what I mean in a second.
Okay.
You look very confused when I say cams.
Yeah.
Nailed it. So, see these are offset. This is the toe adjuster, which is effectively a cam of sorts. So it moves around and changes the position, the inner position of the arm in these slots.
Ah, so that's an alignment thing.
Yeah. Thanks.
No worries.
I wonder.
So it's same, everything's the same except that has the tab, this doesn't.
Yeah, I was wondering if the...
Some of that recall work.
Sorry, mate?
Oh yeah, I guess that marking further explains what you're talking about.
Yeah. But this will allow us to be able to adjust the alignment a lot easier and not actually risk damaging the parts. Should move nicely on that anti-seize and then not be a problem. Ow. So see how that's
Yeah, that's
moving
awesome.
in there, and it moves heaps of stuff. So it's changing, it's effectively changing, I guess, the camber in the back,
Yeah,
but
wow.
it's also actually changing the toe as well. But then you've also got this adjustable toe arm, so you can go camber and then toe to square it up.
So if you had that toe bolt loose as well,
This one?
that'd be moving something as well.
Yeah, so I can do this in both of these slots and I can go like max. If you go that way, all the way out,
Yep.
that's gonna be max camber.
Yep.
But then you've got to have a heap of toe in. So you've also got to max that out, which this is almost maxed out as it is.
Yeah, okay.
So going maximum camber may mean that you've got to actually get an adjustable toe arm because this is already more toe than you would want. And it's nearly maxed out on the toe adjustment.
Yeah. Okay, so toe is like this, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, cool.
Toe
Whereas,
in.
so
toe in.
literally toe in.
Yeah.
Like toes are in.
And then toe out.
And toe out.
Yeah,
Amazing.
exactly. Oh, look out. Shit! You're throwing gang signs in no time. I need a Crips Not Bloods. Handy tip for storing wheel nuts. Get a piece of TIG rod or a piece of fencing wire and just thread them all on and loop them around. It holds them all together and you know that you're not going to lose them. I am changing the nuts on this car in the interim because the wheels we're putting on this no longer use short nuts. They're going to need a long shank nut. So these are going to go on for the final wheels because the new wheels that I have ordered do require a short nut. But yeah, that might be a month away, so I don't want to lose these. I'm going to put them all on the rod and then put them on the GX81 shelf, and hopefully in a month when I come back, they're still sitting there. The wheel nut goblins haven't gotten them. It's hard now, there's like 18 of them on there.
Now you can wear it as a bracelet.
Ching-a-ling.
Amazing. Oh, it's these. Classy.
Oh yeah. Figured I may as well find the most offensive wheels on my shelf to put on it. See what I mean about needing the deep nuts though?
Yeah.
Like there's just no way you'd be able to put the normal nuts on there.
Were these originally IS 600 wheels?
Yeah, back in the day. I bought them green. I didn't make them green.
Can you use them for anything else going forward without the
Yeah.
IS 600?
Yeah, they go on the Falcon.
Oh, cool.
Pretty much all. Yeah, all the 17s I have or had for the IS600 will go on the Falcon.
Lovely.
Or the Falcons.
Man, they're so wide.
You're so wide. Actually, you know what? Some of these wheels probably won't actually work on the Falcon because they don't have small enough wheel nuts. The overall size of the wheel nut, because the Falcon nuts, I'm using the stock ones.
Yeah.
And they're a 1/2-inch stud, so I can't use the Toyota nuts.
Yes, righto. So you'll have to just buy other nuts.
Maybe.
If
I
you're
don't even know if
bothered.
they're available.
Right.
Because I don't think you can get a 17mm nut in a 1/2-inch thread.
Right.
Fits like glove.
Are you giving away $1 million ideas again?
Nah. Yeah, they fit well. Hope the actual wheels I've ordered aren't that badly fitting. I think these are like 17x10s though, to be fair.
Ah, okay.
I think they're like a 10+20 or something. 17x10+12. So they're even more aggressive than I thought.
But they work on the Falcon?
Yeah. Yeah, I've had these on the Falcon before. I don't really love the look of them though.
Yeah. They're kind of like those CR Kais or whatever,
Yeah.
if that's how you say it.
You're close enough for me. Some wizard didn't bring the wheel nuts over. I am the wizard.
That's not going to touch the guard when you put on the round, is it?
Nah. Hopefully not. Doesn't actually matter because it's on Gojacks.
Oh. Is that all the way down now?
Yeah. Acres of room, bro.
Are you...
Wouldn't even worry about that. That's definitely streetable.
Yeah. Again, by some people's standards.
Nailed it. Someone would try and drive that on the street.
The fronts are like pretty much all right. I mean, if you had a different tyre, then fine.
Yeah, there's also no camber on that side. If you look on the left side, it's got full camber. And it's in the guard, no worries.
Oh, beautiful.
Well, that pretty much wraps up the episode. We have got our R33 brake conversion on the car. It fits up really well. I was stoked with how it went together. It's pretty well documented though online on how this kit does work. So there wasn't really any surprises coming into it. Also fitted our rear lower control arm so we can put the sway bar links on in the future. Once we finalize our bar position and alignment, yeah, we've got some links that we can put in that and make it all work. Massive thank you to you guys on our Patreons and members. We really appreciate the support. We've noticed a big influx of guys jumping on the members tier with the bloopers. So hope you guys are enjoying that and having a bit of a laugh. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.